issues that need to be addressed for the Gen Zs, and that there could be another channel to address them. For example, the former Prime Minister, Raila Odinga, said that it is time for us to have a national conversation to discuss the issues that affect this country and what you're agitating about, Bwana Maranga. It is a call also that has been echoed by Fred Matiang'i, the former CS for Interior, that it is time for us to come at the national level and discuss these issues. Do you believe, one, in the genuineness of those calls, and two, that probably there's a different way and not just a ballot to address the issues that we're all talking about?
Thank you, Fred. The issue about dialogue, in 2023 there was dialogue that came up with a report called NADCO. They want us to create another dialogue which will create a document called Gen Zidco. We don't want to do Gen Zidco. We want, all we are saying, Fred, it's very easy. We are saying reduce university fees to make education affordable. We are saying make health affordable. I mean, why do we need to come to the table for you to do the work we actually elected you in 2022 to do? So the clarion call of the political class that we should be able to come and sit and start discussing the issues which they already know. Majority leader knows that I need to table a document in parliament that is not putting tax on pads for our girls, a document that is not going to impose tax on feeds for our cattle and chicken. Those things don't need like a whole dialogue at KCC to discuss over months, led by individuals who will be taking tea and coffee. No, what Gen Z want is accountability. And we are saying, if you're not going to be accountable, sitting in numbers is not going anywhere. Sitting in numbers will be in churches. Sitting in numbers will be in parliaments of the National Assembly and the local assemblies in the counties. We are not going to accept to be led by leaders that are not going to be accountable. The Honorable Fred Matiang'i, he has mentioned about dialogue, and he has, you remember last year's demonstration, it was us, the Gen Z, who called on Matiang'i to come. Why? Because we know Matiang'i is an enforcer. Matiang'i is a man in command. Matiang'i is a man who has delivered before. But he should also remember that the new Gen Z that we are dealing with demands accountability, not seasonal accountability, but permanent, enduring, and eternal accountability. And that is, if he presents himself, and I hope he has, as the youth communication advisor for UPA party, which I believe is the party that he will run on, that we have firmly talked to our candidate and presented our pleas, and especially as young people, and told him, we want you to lead us to the promised land, but these are the instructions. You have to come converted. And I am happy that he has shown that he is converted. And I know there are people that may not agree with him right now, but we will be sitting at tables to persuade them and tell them that this is the path that we want to walk in. Where we walked in the past that was not right, we have repented our sins, and we are calling for even public inquiries about what Matiang'i has been asked about.
Don't you think that even on that issue of and the issues you've listed, especially accountability, that should be the discussion at the national level probably, and issues like youth unemployment, Dennis? Yeah. Don't you think that there's probably need for that conversation at that level?
I totally believe that the current agency is for accountability. Accountability in public spending, accountability in representation, accountability in governance, and even revenue. What I understand is that there's a conflict. So there's a conflict between the youth, the young people, and the people in government. The reason why there's a conflict is that one party knows what they should do, and they are failing deliberately to do. And that the other party knows very well that the other party is deliberately avoiding what they should be doing. So then that creates a conflict.
So the problem is clear.
So now, when there's a conflict, the other party usually goes for dialogue. While the other party is on a standard grade that, fine, this is what we are addressing. So kindly, you just do what we are agitating for. So in an event that a dialogue might occur. This is what I suggest. That first of all, there are some organs of government that should be brought to book. One is the police. They should come out and tell us now, what do they understand by even the word protest? What is their point? Because whenever people come out to express themselves, they are met with water cannon, bullets, and there are consequences that are negatively. And these things continue to even bring conflict to each puzzle. And now, there are things called early warnings. There is now the Sabasaba coming up. The national intelligence should now be previewed to know what is this Sabasaba for. They should then advise their people accordingly that these people, this is what they want. What do we do to prevent? Can we now ensure that there's proper service provision, there's all the delivery in hand? Can the leaders come out clearly and say, fine, members, we've been mistaken. We've understood what you are addressing. This is our plan. And it comes back to Gen Z, and we agree. If that is your plan, does it concur with what we address? And that is what brings about conflict resolution and even youth peace. In the 2250 resolution in the United Nations Security Council in 2015, when there were many conflicts in various African countries and even in other world countries where the government and the youth were in conflict consistently, they came up with what we call youth peace and security, such that, and they came up with 2 pillars in it. 1, protection. 2, participation. That in an event of conflict, the people who are youth must be involved in its resolution. That the people who are youth must be protected. And they created some organizations here in Kenya, the Horn of Africa, Search for Common Ground, headed by Ms. Judy Kimamo, Derek Ouko, and Saji, so that the government understand how to resolve, how to come to a peace and a peace cohesion.
Okay, because clearly there's conflict.
Yes.
Do you agree with the genuineness by the politicians calling for a conversation at that level? To resolve the conflict even before we look at elections?
As my friends have already spoken about it so vividly with a lot of composure, I also want to agree with them on the same note, driven by purpose, that Leigh Bardugo said that sometimes for you to get justice, you have to get it for yourself. And these young people, when you look at the Maslow hierarchy of needs, there is a self-actualization, but before self-actualization, on the lower side of the pyramid, we have physiological needs. These young people do not need houses. They need water, they need shelter, they need food, they need proper education, they need proper health, so that when they are studying, they are able to satisfy their curiosity for knowledge. But you cannot come and tell us that the only opportunities that you are providing for us is to connect bricks and supply water and try to erect some houses. It is not possible. So we have to be very serious with ourselves, because as a graduate of 2 degrees and doing my 3rd degree, and I have no employment, we have to ask the government its sole responsibility of creating employment for its people and ensuring that they have better life. We cannot therefore talk about anything meaningful about the government if they are not doing anything meaningful for its people. So it's self-sufficient equation that if this side of the equation is not satisfied, then you cannot have an equal, complete satisfaction of the other side of the equation.